very basics of it, with the three main buildings that you would see in the YouTube videos and stuff.
Okay.
So at least it's got some of it.
Oh shit.
All right, here
Oh,
we go.
God.
About in here. It's synchronizing. So what do you said
Okay.
you got to do something to?
Well, you'll have to join the farm.
Well, right.
And then once you join the farm, I'll have to give you permissions to do stuff.
Out there. What the hell?
And I may have to stop the other combine so you can jump in it. Probably will.
Okay. Are you seeing me or?
Yes. Okay. So.
Oh, there's a dog walking. Is that their dog? Welker's dog?
I'm assuming so.
It's just dog walking in circles.
But you can feed the dog.
How do I do that? Oh, pet. Come on. How do you? Oh, B. Okay. That's fun. There he is.
There's a. I think this map, I will be.
That's funny.
I think this map will be a little bit easier, especially for you, Derek, as far as like it's not so big and it's really flat, and it'd just be easier to get around, I guess, in a little bit of a sense. But also, I was just getting a little bit tired of I need a break from Green Valley. I'm not saying that I'm completely done with it, but I got with the planting that we've just got done doing and everything, I'm completely burned out of it for a little bit. So
Okay, we harvesting here or?
yeah.
I can't move. Oh, I gotta
Because
yeah, hang on.
You just started?
No, yeah, the AI and
well, I do, but also he's full.
yeah. Well, now I'm in it. I was wondering why I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, did you turn the AI off? Or?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Don't move. I was lining up.
Oh, well, hold on. Well, I was just gonna sit there and unload and go.
Well, that's why I didn't want you to move, because then you could have just started up and gone straight. But
yeah.
Derek may have to jump out of his in a second when he gets done with that row. So I can turn the AI off on that one. I bought all the fields because I figured especially after the way we played the last map, I'm like, this is just more about fun, and I think doing all the fields would be more fun than just doing 2 or 3.
Yeah.
This is slightly different than it was on 19 though, because there was the the elevator was originally right in front of where you and I are looking, John.
Oh, okay.
But now they made that. Now they made that the shop. Because this is that one that had the CHS elevator.
Yeah, no, I remember.
In 19.
Yeah.
Are you down to the end of that row, Derek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you want it?
You can just start down the next side.
Oh. I guess it isn't
We've
done,
got...
is it?
No, it's not done. It's just done with that row.
So I wonder, is this map supposed to be fairly accurate to their operation, or?
It's a scaled version of it, I guess is what I would say. The farm was, I think the farm was actually laid out the way that it was supposed to be, and they have some of the field shapes right. But I found out on 19 that I don't think they have the actual size of the fields correct.
Well, I wondered more the layout, yeah, the shapes and is it mostly flat?
Well, because I found out if you look at the main map, like 1 and 2 are actually combined in real life. And there was a few other fields that are that way too. But the general shapes of the fields, especially like on 1 and 2, where they're weirdly shaped and stuff, all that stuff, that's, I think, fairly accurate.
Where was this place supposed to be?
It's in Minnesota.
Ah.
Oh, it's Montana, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was Minnesota.
Yeah, they're in Montana.
Oh.
So this is high country.
They're all too small then, yeah.
Their big point, they run big buds on the farm.
Yeah, that's what they're not. That's what they're known for. Is they bought 4. They have 3 of them, 4 of them.
3. Yep.
I mean, there's only so many of those. There's only so many big buds in the world. I mean, because it's more or less a custom built tractor. I mean, the tractor itself's like 40 years old. I mean, what they are is they're I think they are, and I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up, but they are either they're 2 8V92 Detroits put together, or they're one 12V92s, the 12-cylinder Detroits in them is what they are, and then they for an engine. And then like the transmission's like a truck transmission, and then the rest is the rest of the drive line and everything else is real custom built. But they're well, I don't think they quite are anymore, but they're from the 70s, or they came to their fame in the 70s, I think. I might not have exact facts right, but something like in the 70s, and of course they were the biggest tractors of the time. They're still up there in the
They're
biggest,
still the biggest
they're not,
tractors, I think.
but they're not technically production, like, so they can't claim the biggest production tractor, but they're as big. I forget the Case, I think. Case or Steiger has the largest, like, production tractor now, I think. Maybe Kloss does. I don't know if they lost that. But anyway, that's the deal.
There's a little corner up here on the other side of me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna let
Derek kind of split the field.
Well, yeah, and I was just gonna let him get the little bit. I guess I'll pulled out too soon here. Left a corner. I'm gonna get that corner, and then I'll go unloading the truck. But yeah, they're either the V12 or like two of the V8 Detroits put together. Is what's in them.
Well, I thought they were like. I guess I hadn't heard that part. I was always just they were tugboat engines is what they are.
Well, so yeah, which
essentially is what they are.
Which the V12s for sure were marine engines. But like I said, I could be. They're either that or they're like said two of the V8s put together. I don't know. But yeah, they're marine engines, designed to be marine engines.
I don't know if you saw that video that I sent you on a few weeks ago on them, but they have a Generation 1 bud, and they were showing the quality because they literally needed a plate. They needed to cut a hole in the plate. The Big Bud did, so they just took a plasma torch and cut it. Well, they just painted over it. They didn't finish the cut or anything. So you can see from the factory this really rough cut that wasn't.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. They're like kind of hand. My understanding is they're each one's one of a kind. They're kind of hand built.
Yeah.
Well, and which is funny. I remember, this would have been in the early '90s or maybe late '80s, early '90s, whatever. But I remember at Husker Harvest days looking at, well, not Big Bud, but it was used to be a tractor manufacturer. Well, Belarus. They were made in Belarus, which is no longer a country anymore, I don't think. We're gonna start cutting right across the road here, or it doesn't matter.
Actually, do the other field just to the opposite, and then we'll cut across the road. We'll get these. I wanted to get these two little fields done first.
Okay. But anyway, that Belarus brand, which is like a real tractor manufacturer, but again an import. And they had a bunch of like little tractors and stuff, and just you were talking about the quality is what made me think of this. Just the casting, like axle housings and stuff, they're cast iron, that were cast. It's like the castings were just rough, and they just painted it. Where like John Deere or any of the major brands, their castings were a lot less more finished, more smooth, you know.
Yeah.
But they had a 4-wheel drive tractor, and it was just hilarious because it looked like hand built, and part of it was kind of like the Big Bud, is that like they just took parts from other things to make a tractor. Like
You
got it,
probably can't
like you got in the
start, Derek,
cab,
until
like you
you.
got in the cab, and like the controls, like okay, I mean obviously it had a spool valve to actually run the hydraulics, but like the steering wheel was like a semi truck steering wheel, like you know how I mean it didn't have the logo, but it was imprinted like where it was like uh for like a Peterbilt. It had the oval in the middle. It just didn't say Peterbilt on it, you know, like the steering wheel, and then like the transmission. It wasn't a, you know, wasn't a you know, like John Deere, and then they still had the quad range, and then but you know International and such had, you know, had hydrostats or power shift type transmissions where you could shift on the fly and stuff. No, these were, it was literally you had a gear shift sticking out of a truck transmission like a semi truck, and a traditional clutch and everything, and it was just a, you know, just a 18 speed or 15 speed or whatever they got out of something, you know, Eaton Road Ranger or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I forget what the engine was. You know, I was young back then, but I was able to recognize something, things like that. But it was, you know, I remember my dad saying it's like that was just a like a regular, like, you know, truck transmission and engine in there, and then they, you know, made their own axle, you know, cast or whatever, their own rear end section, and but I just remember, and they were orange, as what they were. I just remember they looked, even to like 12-year-old or 11-year-old, whatever, my eyes, they just compare, you know, walking across the street, or you know the street there, um from a real manufacturer, you know, like New Holland or something. They just looked cheap, you know. And I'm not saying they
Yeah.
look cheap like Mahindras or those gray market tractors. Like those, and like Kubota before, I mean Kubota's come a long way, but back in those days they were nothing. No,
Yeah.
those looked like finished. Those look like quality machines, you know, compared to
Yeah.
these. Actually, if you wanted to get a sense, you know, when you see like those, like, I don't know, you probably don't watch a lot of them, but like those fail videos and stuff, the older ones, they're always in like some foreign country, you know, maybe Russia or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I've
It
seen a
looks
few of those.
they look like those kind of tractors, or like when you see like those funny pictures of like a tractor broken half in like Africa or something.
Yeah. But
That's what they
one
look
of those
like.
I saw, I thought it was like it was a Massey Ferguson. I think they just overloaded it.
Well, yeah, there's yeah, but I'm just saying they you know, where, you know, you had all the major brands that we know there, and then these look like they were already 20 years old. That's just, you know, that's the thing. They're brand new tractors that just look like they were 20 years old. I mean, they were brand new, but and but the paint and everything just looked like they rattle canned it and stuff. I mean, just, oh, you know, I mean, just overspray on like on things, and again it would look, and everything just looked off the like parts bin kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was crazy. I wished I could remember more. I could probably Google and find it, but I just thought it was really odd because they just didn't fit in.
Oh, Derek, you were gonna tell me about you wanted a carburetor.
Oh, right. I
Well,
was
we
gonna
started
ask
that
John
conversation.
about
Yeah.
one. Neighbor kid, kind of neighbor kid's got a little pit bike. It's a cheapin'. Like the bowl's riveted on and the idle screw was capped, and
Okay.
it's
So it's
super
really
duper.
one of those. I mean, at least the
Yeah.
ones I messed with were okay. It may have been a knockoff Makuni, but I mean it it had it,
This knocked off the knockoff.
it's a knockoff of a knockoff.
Yeah. And so we were trying to decide what to do about it. And basically, I decided that uh, they're like $30 on Amazon. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I
we're
was
just
gonna
going to buy
say there
one.
you can buy the knockoff ones that actually work decent. I mean, I messed
You
around with
wanna
a
put
lot
the
of them.
pipe out, Derek?
Uh, yeah.
Geez, somebody should have sprayed this. Whatever we are, it's got a lot of weed
Yeah.
picking here. But anyway, go ahead with
But
your.
anyway, so the boy's trying to help him out. The first thing we did was I went to town and bought him some E85, and we put that in it and actually made it run pretty good. And we got it to idle, but it's got this ridiculous hanging idle, and it's a centrifugal clutch, and so he ended up like ditching it so he didn't crash into the car.
Okay. So it's still running lean, and you have no way to richen it up. Basically.
Yeah, and then so we tried adding a little regular fuel back, but it's like, let's just get a carburetor and make it right, because he'll never get that figured out.
Well, no, I mean if it's got a hanging idle, it's running lean, and then if it's one of the bowl is like literally, you're not supposed to be able to do anything. You're never gonna. Whoa, okay, I'm full.
Okay, well, I'll
Yeah,
be
I
there
could
in a
probably
sec.
like
I'll
cut threads and shit, but
okay, you're coming to me. I'll go. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you get something coming? Just
no, not yet. I told him to order it, and he says he needs to measure some things or something. I don't know.
is it one of those flanged style?
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh well, those are.
Well, where are you going?
Hang on, I was well, it's lagging a little on my end.
It's like,
I'm like, why isn't it moving? It's like then all of a sudden it jerks around on my end. Okay, hang on. But anyway, so well, those are usually easy enough. Come on. All right.
Yeah, and I think we've got jets for it. So. Because I ordered him a set of jets a while back when he was building on the other one, so hopefully they end up being the same.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other deal is sometimes what comes with them are the like the Keyhen hex jets versus Makunis or vice versa, and then they they're not interchangeable as far as like the flow rates. So I mean, just use what's in there and then fiddle around a little with it. I mean,
Oh yeah, if we can get more than one that'll screw in the hole so I can JB weld it shut and drill them or something.
Yeah.
Whenever we can figure it out. But the fuel change wasn't quite enough.
well, usually with the E85, you need to fuel up or add more. The 85 will lean whatever. If you do nothing
Right.
but change the fuel, it'll lean it out.
Yeah, and it was super flooded. So in lieu of jet being able to change a jet, I was like, oh, let's just put this fuel we need 30% more of and see if it happened to be close.
Well, and then
And
the hanging idle deal then could just be a pilot jet deal, or maybe just a little adjust. Well, does it even have a
so we drilled the
air or fuel screw, depending on.
He drilled the cap out for it, and sure enough, the screw's in there.
Well, yeah.
And it ran better and it wouldn't idle, and so I fucked with the screw and I got it where it would idle good and snap good. It just doesn't come down very well.
And you probably need a little bit bigger pilot jet.
Yeah, because if you open it back up any at all, it runs off.
Yep, you need a. Okay, you're on the right track. Just need a bigger pilot jet, and that's probably with the current setup. That may be all you need. Maybe
Right.
it'd be better
I
if
might
you
pull it.
just got a $20 or whatever similarly sized China carb and then just dink dink with a, depending on what kind
Yeah.
of style of jets, just dink a little bit, but what is it about probably I'm guessing like a 19 millimeter carb or something like that.
Fuck, I don't know. Sure. I have to admit, the boy's the motorcycle carb guy. I don't mess with it. I ain't even touched it hardly, other than getting it to try and idle.
I know I got one or a couple of the, well, I forget what size they are. I got a couple of them laying around, but they're for other bikes for switching, whatever. But they're actual like real, real Makunis.
Yeah, we don't need anything like that.
Otherwise, I'd consider just sending, but they are genuine ones. If they were Chinese junk, I'd just get rid of them, but they're the real deal.
Oh,
What's
like it doesn't have
what size?
an
What size?
engine.
I mean, it's a Honda clone. I take it, but what size?
I don't know.
Like a 70 or a 110 or something like that.
I don't know. Let me go look.
Oh, you don't have to. I just.
Over here.
I'm guessing it's like a CRF 50 style engine or whatever, right?
Yeah, the one that leans way forward.
Yeah, well,
You
like
know,
like an XR or CRF 50.
yeah, like the oldies.
Which
Yeah,
Honda's,
it's the same as that Baja that we had, except for not quite as good.
yeah, then it
Like
is.
it doesn't have chain sliders, and I think it's like barely got brakes. And
I remember back in the day you could buy, it was actually 70 cc's, but I mean it was damn near identical. I'm gonna corner here so I can hold this. But I remember back in the day, brand new, they were 70 cc, but they were drum brakes. No, actually they had discs, but same suspension, only cheaper. But as a CRF 50, the Honda, and of course the Honda obviously was like out the door something like I say was 30, about $3,000. Okay, and you could buy this Chinese thing. I don't care what brand it was, but had
they were like $300.
it was like $300. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but if you think about it, you're gonna put some little 4-year-old on it or whatever. That's all they need, you know. There's
Oh
just
yeah, they're not.
the thing
outrun
is,
it.
people crapped on those, and I'm like, for what it is. I mean, the thing is with the Honda though. I'm not saying knock it, but it's like, you got the resale. You could get, if you paid $1,200 for a used Honda CRF 50
My
or
kids would
XR,
still be riding
you'd
it.
be able to get rid of it for what you paid, these Chinese things, of course, you almost can't get rid of them. But I guess here's the thing: when the kid's gonna outgrow it, and
Yeah, you shove it in a hole, and who cares?
exactly, you could get $300 worth of fun out of the damn thing, I guess. Well, I mean, even my ones, that I raced and stuff, and I mean, I didn't spend a lot of money on them, but I couldn't. I could get a few $100s out of it right now if I wanted to get rid of the damn. But I got probably all in one of those. I mean, one of them I got for free, so I mean, I guess, but it was like $800 brand new if I had to buy it. The black one I had, I got that one for free, but brand new. Company sent it to me. But the one I modified, I bought off the same company, but heavily discounted, and then I got all this prototype parts and stuff when they came out with things and whatever. But I did have to buy a few things, but I probably had $1,000 after said and done, maybe $1,000 in the thing. I know I wrote over $1,000 worth of fun out of it.
So. That's a cheap motorsports hobby.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but I was mostly excited for my teenager to have a friend nearby with a bike, and they can go buzz around together.
Yeah, like we did.
Because he's close enough, they can get it here. That's how he gets here.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to cross the pavement, but otherwise, where they cut through the trees for the power lines, they're fairly
even
to run through the bushes, and then he's in our hood.
Well, even in the burbs here, there's a couple of them. They just ride around the neighborhood, and and I'm sure there's some people that a few get off my lawn types, but I look at it and it's like they're not tearing stuff up and whatever and being reckless. They're just riding. Sometimes I'm a garage open. Of course, they know they've seen my stuff, because I ride. But it's like I kind of got to smile a little, And then one kid has one of those, and I feel sorry for him because he's just got one of those, Chinese Briggs, Orscheln's type motor. You know what I'm talking about? No suspension jobs.
We've got those. I run them all over the neighborhood. They're fucking great fun.
Don't get me wrong. Me and you, if we had something like that, we'd have rode the hell out of it and had a hell of a time. I mean,
I have two of them now. I bought a pair for like $500 off one of the neighbors. Yeah, but we ride them all over. They're great time.
We rode between me, you, and Jeff. We rode so much junk. I mean, remember that Kawasaki G5? I really wished we would have kind of taken a little bit better care of that now, thinking about it. But he learned to ride on that thing.
Yeah, this kid reminds me of him a little bit.
I mean, you can't trade that. I mean, I would trade that memory, any of those memories, for anything.
Right.
But
I enjoyed the junk. I still do.
Well, see, I do too.
Oh, I fired up the Big Twin yesterday. I had to run over to my ground and see if some stuff was still there, and I was like, oh, you know what? It's a nice day. There's a gallon of gas right there. Let's see if the bike's going to run. And yeah, it still sounds like a 12-year-old riding it when I get on it because it sounds good. I have to hold the throttle open the whole time.
Actually, you know what? You're talking about motorcycles. Somebody, actually, a guy in accounting, I mean, city kid, full on. He's wanting to back up. I can hold this patch.
Well, but there's. All right. Well, I'll figure something else out because Derek's just like parked. So.
Oh yeah, go. Like I said, I'm only a little over 50%. But anyway, this guy, and he's right now single, whatever. Anyway, he wants commuter, and and I suppose my coworker Chris probably said, "Oh, you gotta go talk." Overheard him talking about this thing. But I mean, he's Mr. Spreadsheet, okay? Anyway, he was looking at one of those kind of Chinese knockoff V-twin type bikes because it was like, well, because they're like $3,000. They're like $3,000 shipped to your door, and again, like me and you, fine, because
you better know how to work on it.
We know the little things that you're gonna have to kind of tinker with, even though it's a brand new bike, because they don't always get them assembled quite fully. You know what I mean? And anyway, and he's never ridden before, but I got him. I said, go take a motorcycle safety course. You can just get your license, get the credit for all the riding portion, and you can just get your license right then and there, pretty much, and stuff. So but we got to talking and stuff. But I mean, he needs just an entry level. We're looking at like the newer, like Honda Rebel, which they've redesigned completely. Yamaha has their VStar like 250. But anywho, but I mean, he put all these different metrics in this spreadsheet, like horsepower, mile per gallon, seat height. I mean, just all this stuff, so you can compare them. And I'm like, dude, throw a dart, put all 4 of these on a ball and throw a dart, and you're gonna be happy with either one, any of them. I mean, it's gonna do what you want to do, because he's not looking for performance. He's like, well, are these gonna be able to handle freeway speeds? Because I guess he's ridden a scooter before. I guess he shouldn't say he hasn't ridden a motorcycle. It's not a full size bike. It says no. This isn't like a moped. These will do 75. Wouldn't want to do it for hours. It won't be comfortable like that, but just back and forth to here, run to the grocery store, perfectly go up in the mountains a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's just like,
and get 100 miles a gallon.
Yeah,
better.
Right. That's the other thing too. I mean, he couldn't believe that either. I says, no, I'm not joking. I said, you're gonna get like 80 miles a gallon. But but like I said, he had to use this spreadsheet to pick out. And it's like when he stacked them all up, because they're all so similar when you really get down to that kind of stuff. And I mean, kind of looking at style and all that too, but that's not a huge thing. And it's like if you had a bar graph, they were almost all equal. And it's like, I told you, just like throw a dart and choose one. Just find the one that's the cheapest that you can work a deal with the dealer for,
like back in the Super Nintendo days at the beginning of the race game when you were picking your car.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Acceleration, braking, blah blah blah. Yeah.
But anyway, it
you
just
get 12 squares. Where do you want to put them?
But it'd been so long since I'd dealt or been around somebody just brand spanking new to motorcycle. Kind of fun.
Oh, that'll be good.
It's kind of the same deal.
There's a dude at church that's just rode a few years now, and he's like onto a Harley, and he's still kind of afraid of things, I think. So I'll have to go cruise around with him one day.
Yeah.
Because he's worried about like the back roads,
Yeah.
I do 70 down the front road here because I'm an idiot. The potholes are smoother if you ride them like a whoop section.
Yeah.
Oh, the jet boat's off getting painted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
John's painting. We'll see how it goes.
Probably, I mean, granted, you could be doing it now, but I mean, the good weather's really getting really close. You gotta that thing together.
Yeah, I would expect it to be done this week, or maybe next week. We just turned it back over yesterday. The bottom's done. we took it off its trailer, flipped it upside down, and he did the bottom, all of it, and now we've flopped it back over in a cradle, and it's getting the top painted. And then once I get that done, I got to get control cables and gauges figured out. I think I'm gonna just bite the bullet and buy one of those tacks that has all that shit in it with a GPS speedo,
Right.
and then I'm done. You know, one
Like-
item, done.
Now I don't know about, but you know, like I got that shit motorcycle. Like, I mean, yeah, it's not cheap, but it's not a lot. That's like $150, and it has almost everything you need in it. I would think they would have something like that.
Well,
Green
it's
world.
what I'm looking at, so
You know, like if you want to do a dual sport converter.
yeah, I know what you mean. But I asked Napa Jeff, and he commented like they were $400.
Well, maybe because
Somebody
it's
was
marine.
thinking
I'm
that.
sure
Which
maybe.
even that, that's fine though. I mean, we've gone far enough with the thing. There's no reason not to put a nice looking gauge in it, you know. I mean, at this point, we might as well. And it needs gauges because it overheats. I haven't been able to run it long enough at a given time to make it run right. And then also we were leaking, so hopefully this will fix that too. That was the point.
Is it you're not getting enough water, like flow or something, or the head gas?
No, it's there we go. You still hear me? Still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And no, the deal there is, I think anyway, this is where I'm going next. The thermostat, you get a 3/4 inch line from the pump up to the engine, and then the thermostat's got like 2 1/2-inch lines coming out of it. One goes to the headers, one goes over the back of the boat. Well, if I run the one into the headers, I don't know if I don't have the timing quite right, or if it's just because it's maybe not the right cam in it, it wants to eat it. And so I've got that shut. And you end up with like a ridiculous amount of manifold like cooling system pressure too, like it's not letting it out fast enough.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're
I
yeah, so we're
understand.
so I'm gonna ditch the header line and dump it out the back also, and see if that doesn't do it. If not, I guess I'll have to find a different thermostat housing.
Could you?
But
Could you know, drill and weld your own fittings on there, or what?
oh yeah, that may be the solution. I don't know. I've not looked into it. I'm gonna try this first. It's a nice little chrome thing already.
Actually, why the hell do they run the water? Like muffler?
Because the Coast Guard said that you have to.
I figured there was a reason, maybe more of a not so much performance, but like
No,
so
that's
it's a regulation. It's not a oh
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was like, well, it's you know why you run the
no, and
why you run the exhaust, you know, underwater, because then when you're just sitting there idling, it ain't just sitting there, rah, 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 you know, annoying people. Thought maybe it was kind of a that was your muffler when you're on plane.
no,
when you're on
that's
plane,
like my
you know, or something. I don't
well,
know.
no, like inboards. There's whole sections of it that are rubber.
Hey, Derek, if you want to, I started that combine on another field.
Oh no, I'm giving up.
It's but it's a long strip, and if you just let it sit on it give you something to look at other than what you're looking at.
Oh no, I done logged out. I'm going in.
Okay.
Oh,
So I'm out. I will talk at you fellas later.
Okay, but anyway, hold on. The exhaust in the water. It's purely a like a regulation thing. There's no
Yeah. Well, like my
performance
red
or
boat.
mechanic or you know what I mean, mechanical reason. Like for example, an
Well,
exhaust
no, now that's what I'm
crossover
getting to.
in
Hold on, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Hold on. Again, half the exhaust system is rubber, like my red boat with the small block in the back. It's down wrapped in carpet and insulation and vinyl. You have to be able to touch everything in there, or it's going to catch the boat on fire.
Okay.
Like the headers that stick out in the fucking wind, the water's in them for all of a foot. It's really pretty fucking pointless on this thing.
Well,
But
again,
most
that's what I mean.
applications, it has to exist so the boat don't catch fire. That's otherwise, because you think about it, you're shoving exhaust gas through rubber hose and fiberglass. It ain't gonna live very
But I
long.
guess I figured they, like on motorcycles, things like that, they double walled them, or
No,
yeah, insulation, heat shield. There's other ways to manage the heat, but I makes perfect sense now that you say that. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, they and the other deal is, I guess, is the temperature goal, at least used to be. I don't know that it still is. I think the EPA's fucked that. But is like 130 or something, because that's low enough that it doesn't cook the sediments out of the water and solidify everything. It's some shit I read somewhere. I fucking may be totally wrong.
But... when fresh water's such, you're probably killing microbes, and then you change the habitat. Yeah.
Oh no, not the habitat there. Like you don't want to plug your cooling system with.
Yeah, but I think that's just
calcium.
I just
figured
you
don't quite boil the water.
I guess I figure that's kind of like par for the course, though, when you're using whatever you're floating in as coolant. So that's the nature of the beast. You're gonna suck in some sand over the years,
Oh, that does burn motors up. But anywho,
okay,
I'm out, fellas.
Alrighty.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Well, I'm still toying with the idea of the RC. Should be getting a YouTube payment in the next couple of days. I don't know. I'm thinking of treating myself, I guess. I don't know. It's mostly because I want to do the customization. Also, I think
yeah,
it's fun to have. Like I said, I don't have an R now.
Yep.
Been watching more videos, not of that specific model, but just modifications. Various similar models. Oh, actually, and I ran across it's actually an eBay store, but that guy makes 3D printed accessories. I mean, a lot of people. But there was one, and it would be in scale for your kind of Mad Max idea, that that FMS. I mean, you'd have to mod it, but they have a it's kind of like a, best I could describe it as kind of a gun turret kind of thing that would go in the bed. Flame, I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be. I mean, you could paint it up anyway. We just come raw, of course. You'd have to paint it in detail. But, you could paint it like a flamethrower or something like that. Like, that looks like that fit right in the bag. You'd have to take that spare tire off. You'd have like a kind of a Mad Max themed. There's an accessory to go that kind of that route,
Yeah.
Or I ran across, because the guy used made a slide-in camper for like that Chevy K10 model, and this got it. I was there, and they had this stuff. Had all other kinds of things that would for RC, more like accessories. Wanted to again gotta pick up that little 3D, like a 3D printed lawnmower and gas can and stuff. So cooler, camping, etc. But I saw that, and that's kind of, yeah. Of course, again, I don't know, done it, but it's like I know scratch building, I could kind of a Gatling gun kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing that got me, actually, this guy that's pretty Prince actually had things like turntables and speakers and like car amps and stuff. I totally was like,
Yeah.
you know that 6x6, you know, Chevy Apache that said you saw, kind of seemed a little odd. Why would they make that particular model a 6x6? Like,
Yep.
well, what if you did that one, you know, kind of did the rough black treatment, and kind of you could kind of make your own doof wagon with some like speakers and stuff.
Oops.
That's the kind of stuff I've been looking up or watching, like at lunch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this field that you're in now, and this other field to the be your left, they're actually combined in real life.
Oh, okay. They don't have the grass waterway driving on.
Yeah.
Good, because
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird because they made these fields so big, but they didn't completely make them accurate. It's like, well, if they're I don't know. I guess like when I first originally played the map, I was like, you know, it'd be fun is if I combine those fields, and then I started looking into it, and I was like, well, wait a minute, they are in real life. But someone in 19, someone actually made, I think I can't remember if it was a 4x or if it was a 16x. They made a bigger map of this. And it was supposed to be a little bit more accurate.
I wonder how long before someone figures out a way, or you know, using kind of a AI as a helper, but take satellite maps and, you know, generate. I mean, I guess that in a way that's kind of what Microsoft's Flight Sim is. But, you know, use AI to help plot, you know, figure out, okay, that's a road, this is a grass or looks like grass,
Yeah.
and you know, just auto generate like real, you know, real places from, you know, essentially Google Maps or whatever, publicly available satellite. I mean, I don't know how some people might like that, but seems like that's something, because it's publicly available, whether you like it or not. You know, just almost, of course, you'd have to have the horsepower to render it, but as you go. But like,
Well,
you could almost do that because isn't that what Flight Sim does to a point, to a certain point?
well, it can to a point.
I mean,
Did
it's not 100%, but like when you're flying over something, it's satellite or a general satellite representation of
yeah,
wherever you're supposed to be.
yeah, you can you need a lot of horsepower, so you need like a PC to do it. Because I did have it on the Xbox,
Well, yeah, it'd have to
for
be
a
a
little bit.
PC only thing. A custom. Have to have the
But
horsepower.
part of the problem is, like, I guess I don't know how much horse you probably need a lot, because like trees and stuff
Well, and
take a
that's the thing. It would
lot of
have to be. It
horsepower.
would have to be honestly tied to some kind of server play because obviously it had to. You can't load up all the assets at the time. It's do like this is doing. But the thing is I download when you download, you're downloading all the assets. Just it only loads in what it needs to. I, I mean, I think we're getting close to that, something like that being a thing.
I honestly don't think anybody's ever thought of that, because usually what they do is they may get the Google map, but then whoever makes a map has to
Well, I know
mod
it wouldn't be just
everything
like
in.
click a button and go, but it seems like a little bit of it could be semi automated by virtue of the assets exist. It just be all put together. Um, Somebody's got to program it to when it puts it together, when it goes out and gets like pre-rendering and that again. You have to a lot of power to do it, but the way they're doing with VR and all that, I can get being a viable, being something that could exist. Could
Yeah.
it exist for everybody? No, but is it something that could exist?
Man, I wonder if someone had that kind of power, what they would do. Because would they um would they just pick a spot and that would be the only place they ever farm, or would they? How would you know? Say for instance, Welker Farms. How do you know where that's located on a map?
Well, I guess you wouldn't. My point is like the some type of AI would just be able to look at satellite imagery, like, okay, that looks like trees, and it would only be picking from know, a finite set of tree texture. Like I said, it wouldn't be like 100% accurate, but it's like, hey, if you just took a snap, you didn't know that you were taking a snapshot at Welker, but it's like it looks and it's, oh, that's building this, and this, and here's figure out dimensionally stuff, and you know gets the colors a little bit just from depending on how the satellite focus. Like that's a mountain road. This looks like a paved road. This looks like a dirt road. This looks like this, that, and then it kind of does an artist. Think of it as like more of an artist's representation of a satellite, what a satellite map would be. So no, it's like you wouldn't know if you didn't know you were rendering Welker's farm, you wouldn't know it if you knew where that was. But like technically, public places have the GPS coordinates, so theoretically it could put a pinpoint. It's like, okay, this is this thing that knows is this thing, you know.
Yeah.
So say, it plopped down where we're from. It's like, well, you could, if it got things semi-accurate to the satellite map, it's like, well, you could literally drive what it deemed a road to your house. What
Yeah.
location, whether it would render it the way it actually looks, probably not, but it would be generally like, I mean, you look at satellites, it's like you can tell what's a field, what's grass, what's a pasture, what's generally a waterway or that nature. I think if somebody had enough ambition and access to, like, because there is, like, I mean, that's what Amazon, part of their business model is cloud computing. You spent time on, just walls and walls of GPUs to run it all on and run. Would it be cost effective? No, probably not. But someone with much time, too much money, and wanting to see if they can do it, kind of thing. I think we're.
I think, I mean, like for us, it'd probably be, I think it'd be interesting and stuff, but then, yeah, like I'm thinking from a standpoint of like someone else just playing, like I said, if it's a city kid or something, it's like, well, where would you pick the farm?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But honestly, I think, like, okay, said city kid probably first. Well, there'd be groups, forums, Discord, chat, whatever information about. Okay, well, this is the breadbasket. These are the states that you farm stuff in, and probably just look around. And some people, oh, this is the flatland, Kansas. Want where if you want nice square fields, and go, want the high plains or something. I mean, like, you could that's probably how it would go. And the thing is like, and granted, Google shut it down, but somebody will kind of figure out the whole, like, cloud computing gaming thing, like the Google Stadia. That's honestly how it would probably have to work, because you couldn't. I mean, PC would have to be available and have enough horsepower to load in and render, but the game, the all the assets have to live in the cloud. You'd have to have the internet connection, of course, to handle pre-downloading on the fly the next set of textures you're gonna need. Somebody just needs to figure that part, and so it doesn't have the latency. Because that's really the thing why in, like, Google Stadia wasn't going to be able to a viable thing, is because the idea is you could have a very low spec device and play, like a AAA title, but it's the lag, it's the latency. You'd be at a disadvantage for, like, competitive games. But like something like this is, you'd have to have a capable enough machine, but it wouldn't have to be super duper. At least preload about, not even as much as we have loaded to run this map. And then, but you'd have to have enough bandwidth to load next set assets as you keep moving in a certain direction. And then it would have to unload, of course, what you not in the game. Again, it's kind of been done, but to a certain extent, the idea it's not on a like literally like global. You could almost make it global.
Hmm.
Have the money to host it all.
Yeah. How speaking of this map, how have you had much lag other than that one spot?
No, just that one time, and that could have been on my end. No lag with this one.
Well,
No
I'm
jerkiness
noticing like this is a smaller map because that other map was a 4x and it's flat and everything, and so this one probably runs a lot smoother.
Well, and see, that's what I'm talking about. Is see, even that 4x, see, not even the entire thing is loaded in while you're playing it. Even though you have it all on your PC, it's not in not all those files and textures. That's probably, well, and partly we're doing it over the internet.
Yeah.
You got to factor that in.
Well,
It's trying to update
what
me and you at the same time, so we're both in virtually real time or together. But like,
well, what got me thinking about it is like Green Valley, we would we'd have a render distance, and I don't really see one.
yeah,
Or at least
this looks fairly rendered out.
it looks like it's rendered all the way to the edge of the map. Now, if it is it really, probably not. But the it's blended in well enough that you really don't see it. Whereas on Green Valley, you knew where the edge was. It was a noticeable edge.
Exactly. I don't know if that's
Well, I guess now looking at this, I guess it does. It's just it's really hard to see in this golden area.
Yeah, there is a little bit, but
it's
not as
it's blended. It's blended in better.
It's not as abrupt as on that.
Well, if I didn't know this, and this would have been, before I started PC gaming and stuff. But Welker was actually a DLC. I think it was a DLC, like the version before I got into it. I guess modern gaming before I got into it, because I was always a generation behind back then. But they evidently have enough people that keep wanting the map, they keep bringing it back.
Well, it is. I mean, just this little bit we're doing here, and I'm going to call it here in a bit.
That's fine.
We'll do this last, but I can see why, because it's now if you're role playing, I have no idea, but just sitting back and doing it like what we're doing, it's you can nibble off things in manageable chunks, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, but yet it's a big, but yet it's a big map. It feels like a big.
It is. Well, it's how they laid out the fields is what it is. There's not too many roads, and it's pretty much just there's nothing but fields basically.
That's the biggest thing. I'm just feels like you can accomplish something and I like the other one too, because I do like the detail and stuff, Green Valley, but it is also like, geez, are we getting anything done? I mean, I guess it's more realistic, I guess, but this is more like, you feel like you're accomplishing.
Well, and this one, I guess I feel like I can manipulate things a little bit easier. So, like, what I mean is, say we don't want this field to be what what it is. I could change it to something else a little bit easier. I We could have done that more with Green Valley, but like that one field, I really screwed up because I put the grain bins there, and once I did that, you could still manipulate it, but now you have potential of having like the grass growing up in the green bins, which is game wise is fine. But if you're driving by with a semi or something and you happen to see it, it'll look weird.
Yeah, well, I got stuck there too in the snow.
Well,
I mean, that's
yeah, because
realistic, I guess, but I mean,
I think I fixed that a little bit better now, but like yeah, you wouldn't you even in the snow you wouldn't have that on this map. Um I don't know. Like I said, the it was the it was all that field work we had to do on those last fields. It just like I needed a break from it.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's still new enough to me that it.
Well, it's like
Well, and here's the
I'll
thing: it
keep
didn't
it.
take
We
that
can
long,
always
but
go.
I had a lot of fun with the trucking deal. It's just it only took like 2 trips. It's like, oh, okay.
Um, well, and I'll keep it because I know we were all excited about doing the whiskey on it and stuff, and but I was just like these last I was kind of done with the what we did on the fields. I needed a break from it a little bit. Plus, I guess I don't know where to go with that map now because we kind of accomplished the goal that we set ourselves, and
Yeah,
like
it's making whiskey. Other than
it is making whiskey. The only thing left to do would be to sell it, and I don't know what else to do besides that.
making more. I mean, I guess that's what you do in real life. But yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Well, no, the reason why manipulating fields is such a big deal is like, say, like Derek said the other, well, like, you know, this has been a while ago now, but he was like, "Hey, let's do cotton." Well, um, okay, well, I can set up a field to do cotton, but um, this this place, the cotton is going to be in a square field, and then it's really not that far from the shop to get anywhere. Heck, I that's one of the things I definitely am liking about this map is I can actually tell the AI driver to do what he's supposed to. I can set jobs and have him deliver stuff like he's supposed to and stuff, and I can't do that on those 4Xs because that just takes um it just takes too much computing power
yeah, for them to figure out where to go.
to figure out their path. Yeah. It's like you have to split it up into chunks. Like, okay, we'll drive this far. So it
Yeah,
could
see, that's
it
not
could-
fun. I mean,
no. Speaking of that, the AI driver's not working at the moment either.
like I haven't fired up the No Man's Land that Tucker's. I mean, I need to give him more time to learn the control. I mean, he can drive around and such, but we last 2 nights, I don't like the game too. But we've been playing. He can beat
Yeah.
a level, but I mostly play through and he dies, and I just continue his character. He gets to get the mushroom houses stuff, and then we play battle mode. Play the original Mario. Of course, I have Mario, and he can do that fairly. He mostly just he likes that game the best out of all the. I think he likes the next.
You know though, out of all of them, two was probably my favorite, followed by 3.
See, I out of the 3 of them, 2 is my favorite, and then Mario 3.
One was one was the original, and it was great for its time and everything, but it's like you can do so much more in the other ones that
Well, that's the thing. It's a little too rigid. You can't. There's a little bit of exploring that you want to do and you just can't.
yeah.
But I mean, I have a lot of. You're right, for its time, and I can eat through that game almost without thinking. Not like faster. Maybe one life somewhere. Like I'm talking all 28 levels. If I don't warp,
Yeah.
I mean eight.
I'm not that good at it,
I mean
but
8.2. It is always a tricky one. But yeah, it's and Mario 2. I can't beat it. I still can't beat it all in one sitting, but using save state get through. And same with Mario 3. I can't. Why? And of course, I never played back in the day when it came out. The All Stars were Nintendo, where you had save files. Like I got to play it at a friend's house. S version, always no way to save, so for the longest time, it's like never got to like World 5, and that was it. Unless gonna do like a sleepover type deal. We just played for hours and hours, and we did co-op mode, and the friend was better than me, of course. But just would keep continuing along in the game and having to some levels. Died, and we completed that level, and it's like got to do it. So I mean, I did get to see the ending back in the day, but not. I didn't ever. It's always playing 2-player kind of. Of course, the friend was always better because obviously it was his game. He owned it. He could play it anytime he wanted. I got it like every couple of. I got a taste of it every. I wouldn't say a couple of months, but twice a month or something.
yeah.
Because we change it up. Other. It's the same thing with like when the Super Nintendo came out with Donkey Kong Country. I played a good way through that, and of course that had save files. I should save your.
Yeah.
So I'd seen how to play through that one, but again, I didn't ever do it. That was a pretty.
Yep, we had them.
That's one I have it downloaded for my emulator and past have played it. I just remember it being pretty impressive the way it looked. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll call it quits.
That's fine. Actually, after I was out there visiting you and found out a little bit more about the classics and stuff, the Nintendo Classics and Super Classic, I actually picked up the Super Classic.
I keep my eye out, for one. Just again, I don't have the same nostalgia for it, even though I did play a good amount of games. But yeah.
Well, and then I started playing I can't remember what they called the Super Mario version of it. I think it's Super Mario World.
World, yeah, it is for.
I started playing that with the save states.
And Super Mario World, I'd played it. Like again, the friends that had that, for some reason we didn't ever play Mario World. I think part of it was comparatively, it was like kind of easy. Like it looked impressive, but like it seemed like an easier game,
Oh,
and
so before you leave, flip over to the farm. I figured that because this is why I kind of set it up.
oh,
I figured we'd
yeah,
end over here
it's
tonight.
funny. I didn't realize you had these loaded in. This
Yeah.
case here, I think.
Well,
is
this
one of the.
so these came with the farm. Or this came in. It's the buildings that didn't. But I
Well,
sat.
here's the deal. We should
I
have
sat
brought
these
Big
three
Bud
up.
over just to show. I don't think he knows. But pretty accurate. Oh, this one. Wait a minute. That's got the. Well, that's the new.
Well, and I don't. Apparently, I didn't know if these air carts. I don't think these are the ones I told you to download, but.
Oh, I downloaded whatever it told me to.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably told you to download an 80s style pickup.
Well, I saw a pickup sitting over in the field. It looked more like a.
Oh, that's our pickup. That's comes with a farm too.
Over by
I
the
just
house. Is this what?
no the house is not. Brought the pickup back, but yeah, like these buildings over here are all Welker.
Okay.
The Welker buildings. I didn't set up the whole farmyard, but like these are what you're gonna notice from the if you watch the YouTube videos and stuff. And
Okay. Yeah, I don't watch a hell of a lot of farming videos. Just I don't know. I haven't found a channel that's.
they actually have an upstairs, or at least they did. Maybe they don't. And no, they do. Yeah, they
I
went.
guess I
They
kind of
kind of
like that they have a deck, even though it doesn't.
Yeah, they detailed. This is, I think, the only shop that's really detailed out. And it was on the original farms or the original original versions too. But yeah, I figured at least throw the 3 buildings in that at least make it feel a little bit more like the farm it's supposed to represent.
Liquid soap.
Oh yeah. There's on your No Man's Land there's vending machines in the
I know. I've looked around. Yeah.
the shop that have some funny names on the chip bags and stuff.
Yeah. No. I.
Oh, wow! There's the picture of the actual farm. Yeah, you have to kind of jump up there to get into it, but
Oh.
one of them's the farm. I think they're the farm
Yeah,
maps.
it is. could have had a. Okay. Well, I suppose.
I don't know. I think we can have some fun. There's a hayfield over there.
Yeah, let's play this one a little bit to change it.
Well, and I also can do. There's a silage field over, or well, there's a cornfield, and I thought about maybe trying to do silage with the silage chopper.